Today's January 18th. This offseason is off the rails. A wild week in baseball. We're going to talk about it.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
You're listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Yins guys, thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. His name is Jake. What's up, Jake?
What's going on, man?
What a week.
Yeah, what a weekend.
What a weekend.
Man, I was an emotional basket case during that Broncos game. If you didn't know, I'm a Broncos fan, and Bo Nix breaking his ankle at the end of the game is bonkers. But hey, what would Coach Payton say? Steady's ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay. He says, just watch.
Go get someone who knows what they're doing.
Perfect. He said he said in his interview, just watch. Watch out.
Another little
what?
piece of history.
Oh, shoot.
Sorry, that's enough about football.
Yeah, that's enough about football. Baseball has been doing a pretty good job of giving us plenty of things to talk about as well.
That doesn't mean what he thinks it means.
Oh, Miles, he can bring it back. He said that Nick's injury was so Nick Gonzalez. Oof. Oof. We're going to get into all the things. Martin says, as bad as the Tucker deal was, I think the Mets overpaid worse for Bo, which is an interesting take. And we're going to talk about all that stuff because it's absolutely crazy. All the things that there are to talk about. We'll start off our show with a little hello. I see Doug Smith out there, OG, Chief, Miles, Martin, Bucko Mike, Greg. So, yeah, I mean, that's everybody I see in the chat so far. If you're watching, let's see your name pop up in the chat. And let's have a nice conversation here tonight. If we can. Obviously, lots of things to cover. Tucker, Bo. And like, why does that have anything to do with the Pirates? Well, it has to do with baseball. And unbeknownst to a lot of people who like baseball, the Pirates are part of the Major League Baseball organization. So they count.
Oh.
Baseball's baseball. Anyway, there's ways, obviously, we can have conversation about it and still relate it to what's important to Pirates fans. And I mean, the whole sport is what it is, right? So a couple things happened here this week. Those signings, the free agency, kind of crazy. Early in the week. Let's just start with this because I feel like it's short. Not early in the week, middle of the week, international signing period began. And I know that you have some notes on some of the guys the Pirates brought in. I understand we don't spend a ton of time on this stuff here on this show. We're mostly focused on the top level, and that's fine. But when these things come up, doesn't hurt to cover them. As Jake says, we'll talk about them now and then forget about them and talk about them later. So,
yeah, I mean, so what the Pirates did in international signing this year is back-to-back years now where they've had some really strong international signings, like a whole class. We'll talk about the top three for just real quick. I mean, if you want to read these full articles, I got it on MLB.com. It's not hard to find. But Yoncer Custodio, I think is how we decided his name was said.
Custodio.
Number 7, Custodio. Number 7 overall in the international draft class international signing class. Wilton Guerrero Jr., number 17. And then another guy, Alex. I'm going to go with P.O. because we didn't look that one up before. Alexander P.O. ranks just outside the top 50. So 3 guys probably in the top 60, we'll say. I don't know exactly where
Sure.
Alexander falls, but, one of the strongest overall classes in the league. You got a Custodio slots in as the highest ranked international signee in franchise history. So there's that.
Yeah, that's big.
It really is. I mean, number 7, you get a guy in the top 10, he's probably most likely going to pan out.
Yeah, but it's big because the whole international, like the personnel doing these international like scouting and signing and all that stuff is all brand new. So that's a good sign. I mean, we talked about the fact that the Pirates, who have a great international presence and history when you talk about Clemente and everything, and yet we're not getting great international talent coming through. And so, yeah, I think that is big. It's a good sign that we're finally getting some of these upper echelon guys.
Yeah, what they're saying is the premier hitter among this year's group with a quiet and controlled right-handed swing that's direct to the ball. He's only about 5'10", but evaluators believe natural ability to find the barrel and loft pitches will lead to a home run power as he fills out. Listen, he's 16. You know what I mean? 5'10". I mean, you're looking at a guy who very easily could be 6'2" by the time he makes it to the majors. Average runner, so he's likely destined for that corner outfield spot, but all around maturity and hitting ability makes him one of the more exciting bats in this class. Guerrero, on the other hand, now we're getting into some pedigree, right? I love pedigree.
Oh, you've always been a second generation guyer.
Yeah, I just like guys who are his family members. Doesn't even have to be, his dad. It could have been his uncle. It could have been this. It could have been that. Like, if it's in your family, it usually bodes well for you having that ability as well. But Guerrero is the nephew of Vladimir Guerrero and obviously the cousin of Vladdy Jr. His dad, Wilton Sr., did play. Wasn't that great. But that's fine.
No, but and there's probably guys in here that remember Wilton Guerrero. As Greg says, remember Pete Rose Jr.? Maybe we get the opposite of that this time. Wilton Guerrero had like a negative WAR every year he played. Maybe something will come out of here. So I don't know.
Said that he has an elite level baseball IQ and top tier speed, which I love to hear.
Yeah, Chief says, I'm sick of talking about prospects. It's all Pirates fans ever talk about. As we said, this is it. Jake just did all of our coverage on the international draft. That's how much time we're willing to put into it.
Yep. And then just real quick, last one's PO 6'2". He's already hitting the ball north of 105 at 16. So, I mean, power hitting, strong arm third baseman is probably going to be his move. And hopefully, we mention these guys, then we just like, all right, we'll check back in 3 years and see where we're at.
Right.
But it's worth mentioning that they're in our system at this point.
Right. Every once in a while you get one of those Edward Florentinos that pop back up. And now it's the point where we say, oh wait, Florentino's kind of a stud. Now that he's 19 years old, and he's now Baseball America has put him as the number 1 outfielder. Yeah, OG says it's not a draft yet. This is just a signing period. It's not necessarily drafting. And I know a couple of them mentioned drafting, but it's, it is what it is. But all the same, maybe there will be a draft at some point. That would be nice. But either way, back to Florentino. Baseball America put him as the number 1 outfielder in baseball right now. Outfield prospect.
Yeah.
In the zone last year. In the zone. Pitches thrown in the zone. He made contact 90% of the time. Like,
That's
It's
insane.
just ridiculous. Now this
That's
is lower.
insane.
Let's see how he goes. Let's see how he keeps going. That's low. That's Bradenton stuff. So it's hard to really talk more about that. But yeah, I mean, there's this is how the Pirates acquire talent most of the time. We need these things to go well. And I think that's why, just to your point, Chief, I think that's why it's talked about more in a place like, I don't think that it's just Pirate fans. I think there's a lot of fans around the league who are having conversations about prospects because they know that for now, that's their pipeline of talent and that's where they have to get it. Free agency is not a pipeline for talent in this world. And we'll get into that more and talk about that a little bit more. Let me just talk about something a little maybe on the funnier side. Okay? Not really, I wouldn't say funny, but maybe you'll get it. Quirky side. Kansas City's moving in their fences. And this happened early this week. And so many of you probably saw it and forgot it already. But this is pretty significant. Kansas City's a huge park. All the way around. Now they're keeping center field at 415, so it's still, deep to 415, but there's other stadiums that are 415 to center field. That's not crazy rare. Their gaps were enormous. 489 in the power alleys.
389, right?
Yeah, that's what I meant. 389 in the power alleys. And so the Pirates are working with that in left field in the power alley. They're working with 389, 383 at a certain point. There's however it goes. And then over in right field, obviously where the Clemente wall stops is 375. If you remember, Spencer Horwitz hit a ball 393 last year that hit off the wall for a double. So there's some, everybody likes to talk about PNC Park being a little short porch, so to speak, in right field. It's not because of the wall, and it shoots out to 375. So down the line, yeah, you can get some cheapies, but it's still a tough, you have to lift if you want to get it out. I still think that O'Neal Cruz probably has 5 extra home runs in his career if it wasn't for that wall being so high, because he keeps peppering that wall with those line drives. And so there's balls that he's hit off the wall there that are home runs in Cincinnati. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about it, because Andrew McCutchen tweeted, PNC, take notes. He's been vocal about that a little bit, about the fact that it's not friendly to right-handed hitters. Let me ask you, Jake, if the Pirates were to make a change, they're probably not making any changes in right field. But if they were to get rid of the north side notch, does that character of the stadium being lost, does that bug you? Or do you think that there's enough? Listen, the Royals are moving their fences in 10 feet.
And
10
they're
feet.
lowering them 2 feet.
And they're lowering them 2 feet. Now listen, they've done this before. In the 90s, they moved their fences in 10 feet until in 2008, they moved their fences in. Something like that. In 2004, I don't know what the years are. It doesn't matter. They did it for a little while, and then they moved them back in 2018. So they've done this before at Kauffman Stadium. They've done the math. They know that it's going to boost offense a little bit, but not hurt the pitching enough. Their forte is pitching over there too. So not hurt them enough to say no, I think we can get away with this. What do you think about the notch being gone and just maybe straightening that out a little bit to where it goes to 383, but maybe cutting that 410 down to that 400, down to that 3, you know what I mean? And then just kind of straightening that out.
Yeah, it's a little weird to think about it. And I'm I would love to sit here and just be just move them in a little bit. But at the same time, some parks are just big, man. I don't know. That's what makes baseball. And it's not cookie cutters, and every field isn't the same. But I love the notch. I really do. It does. it gives that character to the outfield that no other park has right now. But
Yeah. We'd have to change our logo.
yeah,
we'd have to change our logo down there in the corner.
Yep.
That little notch we have, obviously that's the if you guys didn't know that, but I assume everybody does.
But yeah, I don't know. That's tough, man. It is very tough because it is a cool thing about the ballpark, about the layout that I'd have a hard time wanting to change that, or maybe just make the angle a little steeper.
Yeah. Do I still, Jake?
Josh,
Do you want to? Oh, do we want to? Listen. I can talk about this. So I looked some of this stuff up earlier this week, and I often group my tabs in groups. I don't know if you guys are avid web browser users to the point where you're doing all these nerdy things, but I group my tabs so that I can shrink them down. And I actually have, and I'll mute sound just for the sake of it here, but I actually have some numbers here that I've pulled up of some balls that I think maybe would have been impacted by this. Let me see if I can find them. Oh, we got them. Well, I said I was going to mute it. So look, here's a Nick Gonzalez hit right here. This goes 391. Boom, right there. That's going to be a home run. It's a double. It's a ground rule double. That's going to be a home run, right? We got a swing by Jared Triolo. Let's see if we can zoom in a little. This one goes 396, home run in 20 of 30 parks. Boom. It's in the notch. That's a home run. Okay. We ended up scoring 4 runs that inning. So off Clayton Kershaw. So that one doesn't really matter. We got an O'Neill Cruz double. You thought it was only going to be right-handed hitters, Jake. But this is a 395 home run in 22 out of 30 parks. Hits the base of the wall right there. You know what I'm saying? We got a Brian Reynolds batting left-handed again. Now we have a 5-run lead here again, so not like it matters. 100 off the bat, 383, 18 out of 30 parks. It hits the ground right there. If you cut this off, we got the whole thing. If you cut this off from here over or something, right? Go straight over to a certain point if you want, but that might be too short. Maybe put a little notch in there and just come in and take that straight over for the bleachers section or whatever. You can do it, but you're going to start creating some home runs out here. Here's a Cutch hit. We have to bring up Cutch because he's the one that says it. 383, 24 out of 30 parks, and he's out, right? So that's a big one, obviously, that you're talking about. When you're looking at this list, obviously, Kauffman Stadium on that list. It won't be next year. So there are still some parks. So where does that number have to be to where you say, okay, it's doing whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
All right. So that literally, that was the ones that I watched, and I looked at a certain distance away and I said, okay, if we look at all these, what is that distance that kind of makes sense to say, I'm going to look up every hit that went there. And I watched them all. And I think from my standpoint, those are the hits that I thought, those are home runs. Only one of them was an out. But that's runs. And there was, I think, one of those.
Right.
I looked at like the game outcome of those. I think there's one of them that really would have changed, obviously the out, but one of the other ones that really would have changed the inning and what things looked like and maybe even the whole game.
The only thing I can say on this topic really is if you move the fence in a little bit, you are probably a little more likely to bring in that right-handed power free agent.
Yeah.
Because right now he's thinking 5 less home runs a year ish, in his mind. But I don't know. I like baseball being that Everything's not a cookie cutter. It's not a square. It's not a rectangle. It's got character, just even in the outfield fence.
Yeah.
And I think if you are going to move those fences, the right field fence, or I'm sorry, the left field fence, if you are going to move that in a little bit, I think you should maybe push center field like where it's 389 or 399.
Right, dead center.
Yeah, I would probably push a little bit of that, just a little bit back into that notch a little bit, and then come over.
So right here, right?
Yeah.
Is where it's 390. So, but like the thing is you're in the bullpens now.
Yeah, I get that, but it's the visitor bullpen.
Well, you can't make it smaller. It pushes into ours. Anyway, the thing is like, what if you take 5 feet off, right? And go straight across with that entire 5 feet. You get one more row of benches, maybe 2, if that's what you want to do with it. And you have just like, you still keep a notch. It's just not as big, but you come in there. And Bucko Mike says, pull the ball. Right down here is not a bad spot to hit a ball. It shoots straight out. This is a shot, and not many stadiums are this deep. It's straight away left field. You do have to pull it down the line. But it's a pretty aggressive. It's not like you're talking about Houston where you've got the Crawford boxes and straight away left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's different. Isak Paredes is great for Houston. Not here. Only the ones down the line are going to work. But if you knock 5 feet off and come in here, maybe half of that warning track, I could see that being a pretty easy remodel. Right? Pretty simple. You're knocking this whole section of seats out and making it a little bit higher, whatever it ends up being, however you end up doing it. I don't know if that's, probably clear back here even. I don't know what you have to do for the aesthetics of everything, but it's doable. I also could see you just coming straight from here and just coming over from here, but then that does give like a little bit of is it an easy remodel as far as seats and all that? They can figure that stuff out. But it does make it interesting. It does make me think if you cut it too far, but if you go to 405 in the notch, you know what I'm saying? Bring it in 5 feet and then do that all the way across. I think there is something that you could say that would make a difference at PNC Park, and you could do it. Now, I also saw Martin said Pirates pitchers would not approve. This kind of a change is probably not going to make as big of a difference as you think. And so I looked it up. Like I said, we just added 5 home runs to the 2025 team. I looked it up on the other side, 5 home runs. You know what I'm saying? Like it was about the same number. It's not a ton of stuff. It does change a little bit of how the defense is playing. And so you might get some differences there. The way that players have to play around the notch and do things around the notch, it would change a little bit. I don't know. I like the fact that there's character. I've seen a few people comment on that. We like the character of it. It does make sense. Rosati lost his Twitter account anyway, so he doesn't have to rebrand. But that is that. And the loudest voice, Jake, the voice that we all pay attention to, that brought this all even into conversation, is Cutch saying, PNC Park, take note. And Jake, he's not signed yet. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Is this thing? So listen, we've heard that there was confidence that it was just a thing that was going to happen, and there was not much else. There was not much else in the sense of questioning. Cutch has made comments all off season, and his latest one is the one that makes me the most nervous. Is when McHenry said something about Cutch, and Cutch sends the gif of somebody looking at his phone and putting it back down and saying, "What's the deal?" That's the first one that's made me really nervous that this isn't a thing.
Yeah.
And I know, there's going to be in the chat, it's going to pop up. We don't even want Cutch. There's Bucko Mike, DFA Cutch. He's whining too much. Okay. He's just saying he wants to play with this team.
Right.
He wants to play another year. He doesn't want to play for any other team. I'm sorry. When's the last time we had a guy say, I don't want to play for anyone else? I think there's something there, and he wants to win here.
Yeah.
And the thing is like, what's his role going to be? Because that's going to be part of it. If you can tell me that he's on the bench, that he's playing a role where he comes in a few times a week, like, listen, it's a perfect match. You've got a lot of left-handed hitters right now. He still puts a good at bat together. He still hits lefties without question. If he's focused on, or if he's not having to play more often, then it makes a big difference.
You get a visitor.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. I mean, you're going to have a lot of mixed feelings going both ways on this. I think it just makes too much sense. And he just deserves it, man. If he wants to be on this team, I'm putting him on this team. Coming off the bench, being in the clubhouse, making everybody in the clubhouse a little bit better, keeping things loose. It's just a guy I want around the rest of my guys.
Yeah. Greg saying, kind of don't want Cutch. The lineup needs power. I don't think that changes.
No.
You still need to acquire power at third base. Cutch is going to come off the bench. So by saying I don't want Cutch back either, I hope they can do better. Here's kind of what I'm saying, dude. Like, the opposite, like, not signing Cutch means there's a spot for Jack Sawinski or Rafael Flores. You know what I'm saying? Like, or Billy Cook.
Yeah.
That's what we're comparing this to. That's the roster spot he's taking. I'd take him over any of those guys.
100%.
Rafael Flores plays every day for me in AAA until Bart or Davis gets hurt. And then he can come up and he can play, and he's got time in the game and whatever else. If something happens and maybe there's an injury at first base or something, and Flores can come up and do that for a role because we think that the bat is playing, then for sure that's going to work too. But I'm not sitting here holding a spot for, and really Flores can't even do the things like Cutch can play outfield for a game, especially if he's not playing every day.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. You know what I mean? You got Mangum in left field. You're thinking switch hitter. He's fine. He can come in and against lefties, but he's a much better hitter against righties. Maybe Cutch goes into the DH spot and Ryan O'Hearn plays left field for that day. Ryan O'Hearn does hit both righties and lefties, so it's not something that you're worried about. Do something like that where he's, coming into the game against lefties, or even let's say that Horwitz needs a day off. There's a lefty coming in. O'Hearn plays first. Cutch goes into DH for that day. There's absolutely like opportunities for him to play.
Yeah.
On any given day to come in and help this lineup out. But not only that, but Jake, the professional at bats, the coming in, you're late in the game and Triolo's up, or late in the game and whoever's up and you need something. Actually, this is a good point right here. Light here says 9th inning, 2 outs, runner third, Sawinski, Cutch, or Cook. I mean, which one you going with?
Cutch every time.
Every single time, right? And so that's the thing. Like, you have to consider that there is a role. Now, he has to want that role as well.
Yeah.
But my goodness, like, I think that if anything else, you getting a guy like this in here, once again, good for those players, good for bridge. If you think for bridging to the next thing, if you think that this team, and we had a question earlier, somewhere, I don't know why I lose these things. I left it there because we weren't ready, but we were getting there. Do you think the Pirates can contend for a wild card with the current roster? I'll answer that by saying, like, they can, but I don't know how much confidence I have in it. if everything goes right, yeah, I think they can contend for a wild card, because you didn't say they had to get it. I think Cutch helps that a little bit more than the next. And not only that, but you're pushing. Flores says, why can't I get there? Then, and there's Chief here. If the only other signing we make is Cutch, are we in contention for a wild card? And I got another one.
He's
now.
back.
No, different one.
Different?
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, contention. I mean, I think Cutch helps you. He just does. He's that guy. I think he makes a difference for sure.
Okay. Sorry. Get my train of thoughts.
You're good.
Get my train of thought back. I don't know if like, I guess what I'm saying is like, I don't know if Cutch pushes us over the edge for anything. Like, to me, the roster's not a whole lot. I mean, what's your swing, Jake? 2 wins? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that he's going to be a 2-win player. That's not how this works. But like, does he make enough of a difference to make this team 2 wins better throughout a year? Maybe. I mean, but that's, you know, there's all those, I don't know. There's all those caveats you can throw in. There's no way to actually calculate that. But I'm going to say the last thing here is Cutch is a legend. And I just don't I don't care about your heartless, business-minded, smart junk. Like, I'm sorry. Cutch is a Pirate. He should always be a Pirate. He should play for this team if he's going to play. If he signs with the Cubs, dude, that's the worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. It's just absolutely stupid. This is baseball. You're allowed to have heart a little bit.
Yep.
That's this game, dude. This isn't the robotic NFL where nobody, I mean, I know there's a lot of things you can talk about going on in baseball right now that has no loyalty at all, that has no, there's a lot of that going on. It doesn't mean it has to go on all the time and everywhere with every player.
Right.
We screwed this up once before. Don't screw it up again.
Yep. Don't let it happen again.
Give him one more. That's all he's going to ask for, I think. I really think that it's one more year.
Yep.
But if you do have an opportunity to make the postseason and he's on this team to see it through, then you've done a really good thing. And this guy will help your roster.
Yes.
Specifically, if you go out and you add a third baseman, which we don't know if that's going to happen, and we're not going to get into that here tonight. We've talked about it
too extensively.
Exactly. Greg's got us covered anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like that. it's really where it is. I don't know if it happens, especially now with the other things that are going on. But the thing is that McCutchen makes this team better in more than one way. Because you could even talk about Flores and say, like, does it make Flores better? Yeah, that dude wants to make it to the show. If he gets blocked, does he pout? Nobody that's going to make Major League Baseball, nobody that's going to be an impact player for your team is going to pout. If he does pout, then he was never going to make it anyway.
Yeah.
Is that fair? Like, I'm sorry, like, get over yourself, man up, and play harder. Earn your way there. And that's the thing about adding all these guys. Like, you want these guys to come through, then they don't just get everything. You got to earn it.
Right.
This is Major League Baseball, dude. This is the show. You don't just get things.
Not anymore.
Sorry.
There were some players on the Pirates teams through the years.
Yeah.
That got handed spots. And guess what? We lost 100 games. You know what I mean? Like, that's what happens when you don't have talent pushing talent.
Right.
You got to have that competitive edge. You got to have that drive. You got to have somebody pushing you to make you go to the next level. and you got to have somebody that you are trying to pass to get to the next level. That's how systems work properly.
Yeah. Martin brings up a good point. It shouldn't be that choice. Cook, Flores, and Jack are not better, but I want better than them too. I just don't know how far you can go. I don't know how far you can go down this thing when you say that Cutch is there. He's available to be signed for what's he been signing for? $4 or $5 million. Like, you're not getting another player in here. Like, Harrison Bader's going to cost more than that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Did Austin Hayes already sign somewhere? Austin Hayes is going to cost more than that. So, like, I'm not sure what you're going to, unless you bring back Tommy Pham, and Cutch is 3 times better than Tommy Pham when you look at the total package. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even close. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
This would be, for that role, this would be as good as it's probably going to get on this market right now with the players, the pool of players that are available.
Right.
You could say that Justinson Garcia would be better. And I would say maybe, but there's a good chance. And it'd be, if he is better, he'd be a lot better. Or he might not be, but you still go back to something that I've said several times on the show. He's got to play every day. He can't play that role. And I think Flores too. They got to play more often. They should go from starter to starter. Cutch doesn't become the starter if somebody goes down and then those guys come up. Those guys jump him. Cutch continues that role throughout 2026, and he probably hangs it up, especially with 2027 weighing in the balance of whether or not the lockout goes into the season or not. Jeff. What's up, Jeff? How you doing? I also saw Pit City What in here. I shared one of his things. I didn't say hi to him, but he said greetings. What's up, Pit City? So, I don't know. Pit City says, even if the Bucks want to spend the limit, it's worth to add another $5 million no matter what to bring Cutch back. He's worth it in so many ways. I mean, I just think that it's there. OG says Cutch was vocal about wanting more playing time early last season. He's going to need to be content with less frequent action. And I think when you sign him, that's absolutely the conversations that you have to have. But Martin says if he's not signed by next weekend, that's the thing. Pirates Fest is coming up, Jake.
Yeah.
They certainly, and that's what I've been telling myself, like, they're keeping this thing in their back pocket. If nothing else happens, the week of Pirates Fest, they're going to announce it just for more people to come out. You know what I'm saying? And do their thing. And sure, that's a very good possibility as well. I'm just in the camp that says that it's just too easy of a move. And it does nothing but help the roster out, especially when, like, essentially his starting spot has been taken.
Yeah.
And again, I guess when I go through this whole thing talking about you got to earn it, that goes for older players too.
Yeah.
You kind of got to earn it. All right. Let's talk free agency. We got to get through this stuff. We got to talk about it because I think that obviously carries a lot of weight in this game right now. And I guess the best way to start here is the Dodgers signed Kyle Tucker. 3 years, something, what is it? 240 million. Does that sound right? 60 million. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's 57.1 million a year after they do the deferrals really weren't a big deal this time, even though that's been a big problem that they've had. But this is a big deal, and it's made a lot of people mad. Let's just at the beginning say this didn't change anything, guys.
No.
If you think something's broken, it was broken before this. And yes, it's broken.
Yeah.
If you want my opinion, but it's already been broken.
Yeah, this didn't tip the scale.
This is that thing where this year it was said that the Dodgers might not spend. They went out and got the best closer in baseball. And you were like, oh, that was a surprise. We didn't expect that. And what did we say at that point? We all said, if Kyle Tucker stays out there long enough, they're going to convince themselves to jump into that one too. Even though it seemed like they had no interest. Right?
Right.
I don't understand. And then, you could talk about Blue Jays in this, Jake. You could say, well, man, why couldn't the Blue Jays get this done? I thought they had it done. Dude, what are they doing? They're loading up. They were just in the World Series. They're doing the same thing. So I don't want the Blue Jays to get him either. If I wanted this thing, if I wanted Major League Baseball to be better across the board, then I'd want somebody else signing him altogether. Yeah. Put him on the Marlins. It sounds ridiculous, but if you really wanted it my way, Jake, then the Astros just go long-term on him.
Yeah.
If you really wanted it my way. But that's my way would be guys stick around at one franchise longer.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's even the thing that is going to happen. I don't know the fallout of this long-term. But this player alone, Jake, is not worth this kind of money. So here's what we say. Let's break it down a little bit. $8 million per one WAR. That's the going rate for what everybody, I guess, out there, Fangraphs has it on their site. This is the value for one WAR. That doesn't change with a contract like this. It's still the value. Now, technically, listen, I'm a baseball reference guy. Technically, you know what? I have Fangraphs pulled up too for the depth chart aspect of it. And if I go back, Kyle Tucker was a 4.5 WAR player per Fangraphs. Okay. That's same as baseball reference. So 4.5 wins. If you say $8 million per WAR, then he's worth $36 million. By that free agency, $8 million per WAR, he's worth $36 million. Okay, he's a very good player. Now, typically they'd look at the last 3 years, and it's been pretty consistently 4.6, 4.7, 5.5. So maybe a couple million more than that, depending on how you do your math. Okay?
Yeah.
The rest of that money is what they consider the superstar. I don't want to use the word tax. I said this earlier. I don't want to use the word tax. It's like the superstar privilege.
Incentive.
Not even incentive. Like, it just means that's the extra money you had to put in to get the player.
Bonus.
Not even that. It's because you offered him 50 million, I had to offer him 51. He's still only worth 36. The rest of that money is like the posting fee that you get with international, with the Japanese players or whatever. It's the idea that, like, I won the bid. And all that is extra money that's just that money that says I had to do this to get the guy. But the value still sits at $36 million. By the way, signing Andrew McCutchen for $5 million means we don't even expect him to have one more by that standard. So just to kind of do a little call back there. We don't even expect one more out of him. So that's where we're at. That's where we're paying all this extra money just to get the guy on our team. I'm not saying I'm just saying if you would do that. But let's say, for instance, the Dodgers. Then the Dodgers, that's what that money's going to. It doesn't change contracts, I don't think. I think it still says $8 million for one more. What is your take here? I've talked enough. What's your take on let's stick Tucker and then we'll move forward?
I'm not mad at Tucker about this. I've heard a lot we're in group chats that just bash Tucker and bash Tucker. If you're going to offer me this much money and a really good chance to win a World Series while making that much money, and somebody else offers me similar money, but not the same, still a okay chance at winning a World
The
Series.
Mets
but not
don't have
as
a chance to win.
That's right. It was the Mets. So no, a crap dumpster fire of a franchise offers me this much. I'd be stupid not to sign the Dodgers contract. I would be stupid.
I don't know, man.
I do not blame Kyle Tucker one bit. I blame the Dodgers, if anybody, and I really don't blame them because they're not breaking any rules right now. They're just spending money that they have. They just have more of it than everybody else. And it sucks. And it's broken. I understand all that. But I can't really be mad at them for doing it right now because they can. They're not breaking any rules. If they were, the only thing I can say that the Dodgers are doing that I can be upset about, and I don't even understand it fully, is when you bring up the TV deal stuff that they don't pay the same as everybody else or whatever. Like,
well, that's not even what they're doing, though. They're still within the rules. It's just the rules are fixed to make them better.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with what that is, yeah, as quickly as I can say it, right? As quickly as I can say it. The Dodgers filed for bankruptcy back in, I think it was 2012. Their TV deal at the time was around $84 million in revenue. And then, so they worked out this deal where they didn't have to pay, or any new TV deal they got, they would still keep paying the 48% tax that they owe to MLB. They would keep paying it on that previous TV deal. Right? That ownership was down. Guggenheim came in and bought it. And then what happened is it gradually goes up every year towards their new TV deal. So everyone else in the league is paying 48% of the revenue they get from their TV deal. Just to put that in Pirates terms, I think we get around $50 million, but nobody really knows. But I think that's probably close to the numbers. Ethan's going to listen to this thing and say like, okay, here's where I poke holes in this. This is not none of this stuff is exact. I don't understand fully, but I know that this stuff is in place, right? And so they're still climbing towards, guys, their new TV deal brings in over $330 million. So the fact that they're still paying a smaller percentage than everyone else in the league, yet they make the most money by a long shot than anyone else in the league. It's literally the Dodgers are playing with unfair money. They need to get that deal out of the way.
Yeah.
And so we say like, well, the Dodgers are paying more in luxury tax than they are in that. Yeah, but they have that money as a surplus.
Yeah.
Here's what the Dodgers are doing well. Here's what they are doing well. They're spending to what they're able to spend based on their revenue, their profits, and yada, yada, yada. That's more than the Pirates can say. And we all are critical of that. There's no way we could spend. The people that are saying like, well, just tell your ownership to spend more. There's no way we could get there. Actually, no. I just noticed that Ethan was in the chat. Here he is. Yeah. Actually, I'm not as brushed up on this story. So OG might be the guy here, but either way, like it used to be 50 million before AT&T Sport. Now it's probably half that with S&P. So now you can see like the Pirates are even less than that. So like even if the Pirates were to spend to their means, they're still not getting anywhere near what these guys. I throw this out there, and this would be an Ethan thing that maybe he would understand a little bit more. But like I say, like if the Pirates were spending the way the Dodgers were spending, their payroll would be around 125, 130 million. Like that's about where they can get before it's like, all right, we're pushing it now. We're taking some risks, which is what you want your team to do. You want them to take some risks a little bit to push yourself over the edge because you think that if I take this risk, it'll take my bottom line up. It's an investment. You know what I mean? And like that just doesn't happen that often. And right now it's not, I mean, look at the Yankees, man. They're up there in revenue and they're not getting to that point. The Phillies get a lot of money and they're not getting to that point. They're trying to decide whether they're going to go after this guy or that guy.
Yeah.
And so like, yes, I think that there is a place where you can say that both things, you don't have to pick a side. Both things can be wrong here. But even if the Pirates spent, I think I did see a number that the Brewers TV deal brings them $34 million. $34 million. $300 million less than what the Dodgers are bringing in just from a TV deal. Ethan says, strictly an opinion, which is like what I'm saying, that just that 125, 130. But he says, I'm probably not far off. And Ethan knows the numbers as well as anyone. So it like that's pushing it.
Yeah.
And that's where we want them to be. That's where we want them to, like, if they were there, we'd say they're doing everything they can. And then we'd have a better argument for saying, like, they need to fix this, right? Because if they fix this, I mean, we're not getting into that. That's a conversation for a whole nother day. But, like, there's going to be something that they're going to have to spend. But in order to do it, they're going to have to build a system that gives them the money to spend. If you put the floor at $150 million, for instance, then you need to give the Pirates an extra $25 million from somewhere.
Yeah.
You need to, if you want it going further, you need to fund that floor. And it has to come from all over. 48% of everybody's TV deal, probably not going to get it done. You know what I mean? And so that's the kind of things that we're going to see talked about. Those are the kind of things we're going to see changed. And like I said, conversation for another day. We don't have to get into that. But no matter where you stand on the spectrum of fixing baseball, like, this is all part of it. But the Dodgers themselves are spending to what they can spend. They're not doing anything that they're not allowed to do in the system right now. On the flip side, I will disagree with you. I think that Kyle Tucker signing with the Dodgers is taking the easy way out. I think that he could have signed with a number of teams, and it's fine. We can disagree. We don't even have to argue about it. But you said your piece. I think it's weak. I think that you need to have a little bit of dog in you and try to go take down that team. And that's something that we didn't see. He not only took the most money, but he also took the easy road to a championship, which already has won. So it's not like it was like, yeah, but I don't want to end this career without a championship. And I don't know all the criticisms of Kyle Tucker and the other things that people talk about, so I won't go that route. But I know there are people who say, this is a guy who treats baseball like a job and it's not like a passion thing for him. And you know what? Listen, there's guys like that out there. I'd rather them shut up about it. Not Anthony Rendon about it. I don't like Anthony Rendon. I don't like Tim Anderson. Those are the guys that speak up and basically say, I don't even like baseball. You know what I mean? I haven't heard that from Tucker unless I just haven't read the article. But I do think that there is a level somewhere where if you think that you are that player, that you could have signed, dude, if another team was offering you 40, you're still filthy rich. You know what I mean?
It just depends on who that other team is.
Sure.
Is it another team that actually has a good chance to?
Well, in this case,
Dodgers?
I'm thinking it's Blue Jays. Because we know they weren't getting there. They got outbid by the Mets at $50 million a year.
But are we having the same sort of conversation if he does sign with the Blue Jays as well? It's the same sort of thing, just not quite as far as the Dodgers.
Not as far as the Dodgers, yeah.
But it's the same sort of thing.
Well, and it's beginning, and that's when it would be like, man, now the Blue Jays, what are they doing? Are they doing the same thing, right? And so you would have that conversation about the Blue Jays, but at least it wouldn't be about the Dodgers. The Dodgers could have a bad year and still win the division.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when you look at the Brewers, who made $34 million in their TV deal, they had an absolute fantastic season. It can be done. You can build a baseball team. Let's pivot, Jake, because the Mets missed out on him and then went and signed Bo Bichette to $42 million a year. $42 million for Bo Bichette. I'm sorry, I like the player. He's not that dude.
No.
Again, Bo Bichette, probably not worth $36 million by the numbers, right? He's probably a little bit closer to 28 or whatever, which coincidentally is exactly what Philly offered him. Much longer term.
Yeah.
But you have the Mets over here that they're spending money to spend money. They're not building a baseball team.
Yeah.
If you're the Mets and you're saying, I got money to spend, your next announcement should have been Framber Valdez because your pitching staff is not very good. McLean's good, right? The young guy, McLean, he's good. We can go from there, but You need pitching.
Yeah.
And you signed
Yeah,
somebody where you already had a logjam.
It's just never going to, I mean, the human side of it, they're going to take the money and the best chance to win, period. Now, you tell me a player, and I would love to see this. Don't get me wrong. I'd like to say that I would be that guy if I had all this talent and I was in this situation. If a team that can't spend a lot of money, but they're close in talent, listen, bud, I can't touch 60 million a year. The best I can give you is like 3 years, say 100 million, 90 million. Like I just can't spend that kind of money, but man, we're right there. If you're on this team, we can take down the Dodgers. And he signs that deal, I'm all in. And I'd probably think higher of that player.
100%. You're kind of making the argument for me.
But I don't think less of him for taking this deal either.
He's a hero. If he signs with the Giants for
the
$20 million less. Yeah, they are. I mean, they're in the division too, right? If he signs with the Giants and he says we can take that team down. Giants are a big money team. That's why I bring them up. They should be anyway.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about big money teams. I'm talking about you somebody who signs with a small market team for way less.
You're not going to sign for $40 million.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That would be the difference for me.
I think if
I don't
he goes
think less of him for this.
If let's say he signs with Arizona, which would be a good comp, a team that is trying to push themselves, trying to compete, and I'm thinking the reason I'm saying is because they're in the division, which makes it all the more special, right? He goes and he signs with the Diamondbacks saying, I think we can do this thing. We're going to take down the Dodgers. I got that. I'm that guy. He's a hero. Instead, listen, everybody hates the Dodgers right now. Across the fan bases because of what they're doing. They're just hating on the Dodgers. Whether what they're doing is within the rules or not, it still just makes you bitter because like, what are the chances? You know what I'm saying? And so you go into this thing and you sign with the Dodgers, you're going to be hated. Now, that's not anything new for Kyle Tucker either. He played in Houston. He probably got the whole treatment. But saying that he's not a heel, saying that he's not a bad guy now.
He's not.
He is. He absolutely is.
He's just another guy in the league. He's just another guy in the league.
To you. But to most of the fan bases, that's the decision he just made. He knew. He's not stupid.
Get that.
He's not stupid.
Understand that.
He knows that's how he's going to be treated.
Just don't understand that train of thought.
And that's fine.
He's just another guy.
But
he's not a hero,
but
he's just another guy.
But you also know that that's how he's going to be treated. So did he.
I don't know that. I don't know that the vast majority think that. I think it's, I don't know. I think it's 50-50.
I don't think it's quite that much.
I don't blame the player.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm just saying.
Not only is it the player, a lot of times it's the daggum agent.
We were talking about the Mets.
Yeah, I'm not signing with the Mets. I don't care how much money you pay me. I'm not signing.
No,
with the
we're talking Bo Bichette to the Mets is what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, it's a terrible signing too.
Well, that's what we're talking about right now, though. Let's focus on that. Just because we could talk about Kyle Tucker for 15 minutes, we have a different opinion on it, and you have a different opinion than I would say probably 98% of the league.
I highly doubt it's that high.
We'll disagree on that number 2. So the thing is they're just throwing money flippantly. They're not building a roster even close. Yeah, he did. That's exactly the comp here. He knows it too. Anyway, no more Kyle Tucker. No more Kyle Tucker. The Mets are stupid.
Yeah, they don't understand building a team and putting guys in the right. They got 2 guys on their team that are going to play new positions.
Yeah.
Jorge Polanco's never really played first base. Bichette's never played third.
And they
Let's
also have
just
Vientos.
Sign them all up and
Vientos and Beatty also, who were guys that were up for first. And I still think Polanco doesn't end up at first base. I know Fangraphs has him there now. Before the signing, Fangraphs had him at DH. So they're guessing. You know what I'm saying? That you don't really know how that's going to shake up. They'll move guys around. They'll give guys days off. Somebody gets hurt, Polanco's going to be at second. You know, they've got options there. But like when you have Beatty and Vientos and you're trying to figure out what's going on in the corners, and you don't really have, like, you've got Soto and you've got, who's the outfield? Like, I feel like wouldn't have Bellinger even fit better on this team?
Bellinger would have fit better, yeah. I don't even
Carson Bench is playing left field. This will be his major league debut. So, and Tyrone Taylor in center field, who was 0.8 WAR last year. Like, listen, man, you signed the wrong guy, but Bellinger wasn't signable 2 days after Tucker signed. That's why they were going after Tucker. So you just pivoted to the next signable guy for as most money as you can give him. And it's just stupid.
Yeah. And the ripple effect, too, for us, the ripple effect, if Bichette, who basically all but shook hands with Philly, if he signs in Philly.
Man, that's a mess, isn't it? He did. You're right. That's a good point.
You know, if he signs that deal instead of with the Mets, there's a chance that Pirates could maybe pick up Bohm. I mean, that's complete speculation.
Sure.
And I'm not,
somebody
whatever.
will.
But somebody could scoop in and pick up Bohm.
Somebody
even if it
will.
wasn't the Pirates. Well, I mean, who's going to play third if they, you know what I mean?
I'm saying if Bichette signs, the whole idea
somebody would have.
Bohm only has one more year, so he's getting traded. That's the thing. Is like when you only have one more year on your deal, it makes a lot of sense to sign that deal.
Yeah. The ripple effect is just wild.
Greg says the Mets can hand us Vientos as charity. That's not going to happen. I think Vientos is in this lineup.
Yeah.
If he's not, of course, right now, Fangraphs moved Vientos from first base to bench. They moved Beatty to DH and Polanco to first because apparently they'd rather have Beatty in the lineup than Vientos. That's Fangraphs, right? That's just them taking their chance at what their lineup's going to be. Obviously, everything plays out. They don't have to move those guys. Philly is in their best interest to move Bohm if he's not going to start.
Yeah.
And they're still not going to get much for him. He's a 1-year deal. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's just that was one of our guys we were looking at that we were thinking could play third base for the Pirates. And now the Mets just signed this just ridiculous contract or offer this ridiculous contract that Bichette obviously is going to just sign. Well, no, I mean, that one shouldn't be obvious because, I mean, it's the Mets. But he signs it. Now we're still looking at Suarez, obviously. Numbers are just going through the roof right now for free agents.
So this is the pivot. This is the pivot, right? Because Bo Bichette signed as a third baseman.
Yeah.
Which means you got Chief's question here. Forget the Mets. Who's playing third for us? This is how all this ties in because now Suarez might be an option for someone else. Could Philly jump in on that? I don't know. I think with Bohm, I think it's maybe not that big of a difference. I think I'd rather roll with Bohm for one more year, see what there's a good chance that Bichette opts out after next year because he finds out the Mets is just a circus over there and goes back on the market. So I don't know if you make that kind of move, but there were teams looking at him. And now does Suarez move up the ladder and get a little further away from the Pirates?
Yeah. The price tag is going up because of some of these other signings. So
yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Everything is a domino effect down. Now, the Phillies also signed JT Realmuto. It looked like they weren't going to do that. That seems to be their pivot.
Yeah.
You know, they're up there in payroll too. So for them to say, okay, I would think it's pretty fair to say they're spending to their what they can spend. They're probably one of those teams that are spending money when they should. I'll tell you a team who's not. It's a lot like the Pirates, and this will be the last thing that we're going to talk about, but we're going to shake it into 3 things and see how fast we can go. We spent way too much time arguing about Kyle Tucker. Ellie De La Cruz turns down the largest contract in Reds history. I promise you we're getting somewhere. Thoughts on this? The largest contract was Votto's 10-year, $225 million deal. That's 22 and a half. This was the largest. Let's say for the sake of things, maybe it was $250 million. That's only 25. Let's say it was $280 million. That's $28 million a year. You're starting to get into a range where you're like, okay, I can see that. But let's talk about it because Ellie is one of the big dudes, right? Like he's, as far as like star power, he hasn't quite lived up to it yet, but he's a star. Ellie has hired Scott Boras to be his agent, Jake. Scott Boras does not sign these extensions, Jake. So did you think it was going to get done? Probably not. He said before, I let my agent do that stuff. He's not even interested in those kind of talks. Not that he wouldn't be interested in staying in Cincinnati, but he's just letting them take care of it. And we just talked about what these players are getting on the free agent market, and I just don't know. Let's look at the numbers, Jake. 3 seasons he spent here, not quite 3 full seasons. He's not even in arbitration yet. 60 home runs, but he has a 255 average, 329 on base, a 107 OPS plus. He's showing that he's over, like better than average, but not a whole lot better. He's led the league in steals, errors, and strikeouts in 24, and then again led the league in errors in 2025. He's made 69 errors at shortstop in those 2.5 years. 69. And here's the kicker. Well, actually, no, one more thing. 4th most strikeouts during that time. 3 full seasons. He's only been there for 2.5, really. Yeah. Here's the thing. He just turned 24. 24, like a couple of days ago, turned 24. I think it's safe to say that his potential is he's going to be better than those numbers. So if you want to sign me to what I've done so far, then 25 to 28 million might get it done in the scheme when you get to your free agency years, in the scheme of what we're looking at right now. But I bet you, especially playing in Cincinnati, that those homers tick up. He might be a 30 homer guy for a couple of those years. He's going to steal 60 again, maybe, if he's actually on base. If he can cut down on strikeouts and errors, like, I'm sorry, Jake, we might be talking about like 35, 40 million. Why would you sign that right now?
You wouldn't. You
wouldn't. You're going to bet on yourself. And if he's doing 30 and 60, by the way, Jake, if he's doing 30 and 60, I'll take some of the errors.
Some.
He doesn't have to lead the league, but I'll take some errors.
Yeah. Part of me goes back to that where he said, I let my agent take care of it. I really wish players would quit doing stuff like that. And it's really surprising to me to hear a Latin American player say that, because it's been a thing for them to just get guaranteed money. It changes their entire family's lives so much.
Yeah.
And they pour so much of their money back into their home countries. And they just, if they can get an extension and they can get guaranteed money, most of them take it. Whether it is the most or a little better than just normal or just normal money for the player. They're going to take it because it's guaranteed money, and they don't know if they get hurt, they don't have anything to fall back on. If that makes sense.
It makes sense.
So to hear him say, I let my agent take care of that, blows my mind.
I will say he
they
does not
usually-
fall into that category. 3 years in the show. He's proven it. He's going to make money in this game. He's absolutely going to. And the money he's making right now probably plays a little bit into the fact, I mean, he's made an all-star team. He's gotten a little bit extra for that. There was a signing bonus. Like, there's been some money. But for this dude to bet on himself is a pretty easy bet at this point. He starts arbitration next year. Who knows how the CBA, he might be a free agent in 2 years. If this CBA cuts down on the years of control, then all of a sudden I'd wait that out. I've already proven I'm a major leaguer. Now I just need to prove I'm a star. If you sign him before he makes his debut, totally different story. Nothing's guaranteed.
It just, you just don't know when some freak accident's going to happen.
And I'm betting on a freak accident not happening. I understand what you're saying. I'm totally with you.
Yeah.
I think he's beyond that point. And so the point of bringing this up is we talk about the same thing right now with O'Neal Cruz. And we talked about why didn't that happen? We're at arbitration now, Jake. He's way too close. And like, if he signs for, let's say it's $250 million, that's 10 years, Jake. He's not going to free agency again until he's 34, 35 years old.
Yeah.
He's not making more than that. With the money that's going around the league right now, I'm just taking that chance if I'm Ellie.
Yeah.
O'Neal Cruz, we had our chance. And there was no way that he was going to be willing to take less. And from the Pirates, I mean, he knows his potential. O'Neal Cruz, we're on O'Neal.
Yeah.
He knows what he has the capability of doing. But if you looked at his numbers and you said, here's what you've done, we think you're going to do better, and we're going to sign you to a contract of where we think you're going to get. And he's going to say, I think I'm going to be a lot better than that. And that's fair, but that was your last chance. But I'm going to tell you right now, like the Pirates, from the Pirates side, I don't know if I could have made it interesting. Because even though we see all the talent, there are still questions of whether or not O'Neal Cruz actually ever reaches his ceiling.
Yeah.
So those two sides were really probably never going to get together, because the Pirates would have been like, I'd love to pay you for what I think you're going to be, but I'm really not sure we get there. If his defense was spectacular, he's got a much better chance.
Yeah.
But because of all that stuff, I think the Pirates would have been reluctant to go to another level. And so where they may have been at that time, O'Neal's probably saying like, dude, I think I definitely need to go, like, to wait and go higher. And I've got no problem with that. By the way, Martin says, can't blame Ellie or Tucker. Ellie, in this case, I totally agree with, but we'll see. I just think here's the thing. I don't blame Tucker, but he chose to be what he is. That's all I'm saying. I think he knew what he was signing up for, and that's fine. But that's what he is. That's all I'm saying. I'm not blaming him. He can make whatever decision he wants, but every day you wake up with a decision. It depends on who you want to be, and he made his bed that day. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, and you might not have to agree. It's an opinion. It's an opinion. I never make my bed. Anyway, the thing is,
that night anyway.
So the thing is like, from the Pirates and O'Neal Cruz, I don't think they could ever get to the same place, because O'Neal Cruz hadn't quite lived up to what we thought he could be early in his career. Not a lot of players do, Jake. This is not rare. Yeah, we're talking about Ellie and the same thing. He hasn't lived up to that either. And so the choice is, do I pay him for what I think he'll be? Or you know what I mean? It's way too far. If O'Neal Cruz breaks out this year, too bad. He's 2 years from free agency. It's not going to happen. You missed your chance. Paul Skeens was a 1-year guy. If you didn't sign him before his career, you had to sign him after the rookie of the year. It'll never happen.
Right.
Because that ceiling is already so high that there's no way you can reach it. But there's one guy, Jake, that you can. There's one guy right now, this spring, that you can get to, and that argument that you made about Ellie. Like I said, maybe just a little late, but not in this situation. When you get into spring training and you start talking to Connor Griffin, sign that deal.
Yeah.
Sign it.
Yep.
Both sides, because that is a guaranteed, you only buy like 2, maybe 3 years of free agency, maybe. The fact that he is only 20 years old right now. Oh, you know what? Congratulations, Connor Griffin. Hold on. I still have that muted. If what I saw was right, he got married recently at 20 years old. Crazy. Anyway, at 20 years old right now, so if he did get married, starting a family, you've got your family at home, loves his dad. His dad is attributed to a lot of that. Yep. Martin said he's got a wife to support too. The thing is that, like, at this point, if you offer him, what did Churio sign? 8 years, 80 million?
I think he got to 100.
No, I thought it was 80. Somebody's going to throw it in there by the time I find it.
Mm-hmm. 8 years, 82.
8 years, 82 million. If you get this dude, 8 years, 100 million right now. We're a couple years removed from that, right? When did he get that? 2023. So 3 years removed from that. You go 100 million, let's say 90 million. 8 years, 90 million. Maybe an option on top of that can push it up to 120 or something crazy, right?
Yeah.
And you throw that there, there's a good chance a young player at 20 years old who is going to be signed through, let's say, age 29 or hitting free agency at 29. You still got another big contract in front of you.
Yeah.
But I can lock down 100 million right now. Let's say those 8 years. That way he's still hitting free agency at 28, 29.
Yeah.
Dude, 27, 28. Either way, if you could get him to free agency this side of 30, but get him locked in for that amount of time, that's a doable contract. That's a doable 100%. Contract. It's realistic to get done. You know that this kid's going to be special, but you have to take this sort of risk to get it done. 100%. Because if you don't, we're talking Skeens all over again. We're talking Ellie. We're talking O'Neal. And O'Neal's and Ellie are still, they haven't got there yet. I think right now with Ellie being younger, I think there's a better chance of him getting there than O'Neal. But just, full picture here, because Ellie's defense isn't out of the question yet. At 24 years old, he could wrap it up. I mean, we're talking a ton of errors. If he gets down to like 15 errors and the offense comes through, you're probably still okay with that.
Yeah.
Especially because he does range well.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, you've got to get to a point where you're making some sort of move like this, because if you don't, it's a cycle. Let's even talk about the CBA. If it moves down to 4 years and they're hitting free agency earlier, then, man, you got to do it.
Yeah,
and this is a good point here. Chief says they didn't do it for Skeens, so why do it for Griffin? I think because you realize you missed. I think it's a lesson learned.
Yeah.
I think that's actually more of a reason why they make sure it gets done for Griffin.
Right. And this one here,
sorry, I clicked something too.
No, you're good. I think we were clicking on the same one.
Go ahead and click. No, because I clicked back on the other one. There you go.
So is it realistic with Nutting though? Sometimes we forget who. I think this is the kind of contract that he's going to be in favor of because it will save him money down the road. Because you sign to $100 million now, that $100 million, say you backload it and we're paying him 20 plus million or something towards the end of this contract. That 20 plus million is going to be cheaper than 20 million today.
Oh yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like I think you load it up to where I think you load it to where the last 2 years are almost like 25, like 50 million of this contract sits in the last 2 years of it.
Yeah.
25 and 25 for the last 2 years of those free agency years, those first 2 free agency years, if it's an 8-year deal. So now you have 6 years to cover $50 million.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Andrew McCutchen signed for. Initially, when they extended him back in the day, was 6 years, $50 million. I think it was a little bit more than that, but not much, like 51 million. You know what I'm saying? Like it was. So yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about. A 6-year deal for somewhere over $50 million. And then you push out 25 and 25 in those last 2 years. Like, dude, it's easy to get to 100 right at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think absolutely you could handle that.
Yeah. And it's up to Sherrington to convince Nutting that that's the right move.
Yeah. But Nutting has agreed to these extensions time and time again. We act like he doesn't, and they haven't been quite this big, but we also haven't had a guy like this. You know what I mean? So like that, everything changes, right? But McCutchen got extended, Marte got extended, Polanco got extended. That one didn't work. You take the risk. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Pitching's a little bit different. I can understand somebody being more reluctant. As Martin said, pitchers are more of a risk for injury too. And so there's some of that. But we've seen a lot of extensions. Obviously, Brian Reynolds is still here now. He was signed to an extension like this that was bigger. Key Brian Hayes was signed to an extension. Even Josh Harrison had a 4-year extension before he got to that point. So Jose Tabata, we can't forget Jose Tabata, which you might say didn't work, but like he hit. I don't know what the problem was there. We just stopped playing him. But either way, like this absolutely is something that, and I think the bigger thing is that we saw the mistake of not throwing something at Skeens ahead of time, right? You might be too late on Bubba already, but also it's that injury thing. Like that's a bigger risk.
Yeah. Starting pitchers are always a bigger risk. Risk?
Yeah.
Risk.
I think you take the risk on Connor Griffin this spring. I think with this CBA coming, and I'm telling you, there are going to be things talked about. Don't be surprised when team control lowers from 6 years to 4 years.
Yeah.
I've been saying that now. Like there's going to be trade-offs if you want things to be fixed in this league. And I think that young players are going to make more money, but not only that, but that those years of control are going to come down. And what does that do, Jake? That incentivizes teams to sign more of these deals, to get more control in the younger years so that they don't hit free agency after 4. Yeah. So you're going to encourage teams to sign 6-year deals and get these guys paid even more, which is why the Players Association is going to like this part of it. And they're going to push for this part of it because they're saying, yeah, we want our younger players to make more too. How else to do that but to incentivize them to sign these extensions more often? And teams will for their good players. They absolutely will. They almost have to. If you're a small market team, you're also going to have to do that. So there's going to be something. And Ethan, I didn't bring that up. I didn't bring up a cap. I didn't say that word.
Did.
Oh, OG did. Sorry, I just saw cap isn't happening, so that's not happening. I didn't see it.
Gotcha.
Yep, thanks.
Yep.
So, okay. We don't really want to go down that path, but I'll say there's many ways to skin a cat. There's many ways to skin a cat. There already is a cap. If you want to ask, if you want to say that, there's already a threshold that they get over, that they have to get over. So what I'm saying is stop with the tiers, tax it heavily, do whatever you want. Like I said, conversation for another day. This is very quick. There are a lot of ways you can use that number. Let the Dodgers blow past it, because the more they spend, the more money we get, the higher the floor can go. That's all I'm saying. And there will be a floor, because that floor will be funded. And the only way you can, and because I'm going to tell you right now, Kyle Tucker's one guy making $60 million. There are more guys in this league making less than $1 million than there are making those big contracts. Those guys are going to start speaking up. And guess what? Minor leaguers are in the PA too, as of last CBA. So people are going to, like, these players are going to start speaking up, and there's going to be more money for the younger players who, by the way, probably are doing more damage than the old players are. And there's going to be money there. And it's going to be provided to those younger players, and they're the ones that are going to speak up. I said this on the 3-0 take the other day, Jake. At this point, this league has owners versus owners going on, and they have players versus players going on. We're talking about getting the owners and the players together to work something out, and neither side can even agree on things. Yeah. That's what's causing this problem, because players are against players and owners are against owners. You've got to fix your side first before you can get somewhere else. And I think Tony Clark is on his way out, because he's not listening to those young players. He's listening to Scott Boras.
Yeah.
Anyway, the whole thing is going to need fixed. Things are going to happen. There's going to be trade-offs here and there. You got to get Connor Griffin done now, because you have no idea what it's going to look like on the other side of this thing. That's the point.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, there's no reason he can't get a contract signed before the end of spring training. Especially if all these free agents, we're spending money, we're doing all this, and we're not able to land some of these guys. At least do this.
Yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, you're also saying, like, they won't have to spend that much money on him this year. Like, if they do extend him, right, our guy Ethan's going to know exactly what he's getting this year, and he's, you know what I mean? He's still going to say, like, I know there was one thing in the chat early on, and I'm not going to go look for it, but it was all this talk about them spending a bunch of money, and all they did was got back to where they were. But they did spend a bunch of money. I'm just saying, they didn't say we're going to blow past last year's payroll. They said we have money to spend. They've spent money.
Yeah.
So maybe it was just the what we heard versus what they've done. And I still think there's more to do. And I do think that they'll spend more. If they can, they will. They're definitely willing to. They've proven that already. They've proven that they're willing to spend more than what they've spent. Getting it done is not a matter of, is the money available, as much as it is a matter of, can they get it done? Can Sherrington actually get it done?
Yeah.
But it's been a pretty good offseason. So either way, they will, OG, current CBA. Next CBA, not so much. Just saying. There's ways they could figure it out. They're a lot smarter than I am, so I'll let them do it. But things are going to have to change. And by the way, if you go over that tax, you forfeit your shared revenue. Completely forfeit. So all of your shared revenue goes back in the pot, raises the floor, and you lose draft picks. So I'm just saying.
Oof. I don't think we need to be bringing draft picks into it.
Yeah. No, Dodgers don't get a draft pick. Why? Why would they get a first round pick? If they can sign whoever they want, they don't get a first round pick. Even the playing field. Let those other guys get that player. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. This was a fun one. We had a lot to do. We had some arguments that made this thing go a little bit longer than what we wanted to. we kind of looked at this and we were like, yeah, we could probably do like 10 minutes on and get through Tucker, Bichette, and Real Muto and get to the. But it's good. We all got to say our piece, right?
Yeah.
We all got to say, where we land on it. And that's the whole thing about sports, right? You should be able to say how you think and have somebody else say how you think, and then get to a point where you say, like, we disagree, but like, it doesn't mean that I think Jake's an idiot. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna be like, you're not my brother anymore, man. I can't believe you don't like Kyle or you like Kyle Tucker.
Never said I liked him. Just don't dislike him.
Yeah.
He's just another guy.
That's fine, but he's another guy that made a decision. That's all I'm saying. He knew what he was signing up for. And he's already been there. He's already been for the Astros. So he already knows what that feels like. Maybe he just doesn't care. Maybe that's why he doesn't like baseball. Yeah. OG, we should probably, we could probably chat about it. I think we'd have a good time chatting about it someday. We could probably chat about it. Listen, I'm nowhere near the smartest person in the room when it comes to this kind of stuff. Nowhere near it. So don't do that. Greg, don't do that. For those of you listening to audio, Greg says, if the Pirates sign Suarez, I'm getting a Jim Bowden haircut. Don't do that. Don't do that. Nobody should actually ever do that. Just get a toupee. It's the same thing. All right, we got to get the heck out of here, man. These once a week shows, man, it gets us going long. I hope you guys are here for it. I know we definitely are, but it's been fun. But yes, there was one of them here. I will be at spring training. And if the weather holds up Saturday, I'll be at Pirates Fest. So check the Twitter, because that's probably where I'll post whether or not I'm going to be there. But check the Twitter. We'll see if you're there. We'll say hi. But that's all we got.
That's it.
Now we
I
take
got
a deep
nothing
breath.
else. Yeah.
Pirates sign Cutch this week. Maybe Suarez. Go do it. Do it. Open the trunk. Do it.
Do it. Do it.
Let's go, Bucks.
Let's go, Pirates!
Thanks for listening to my dad and Uncle Jake on the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2Buctober. Don't forget to subscribe so you know when new episodes are released. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucks!